Stop buying anime games in 2026. Now hold on, I know that's a crazy thing to ask for, especially because you can do what you want with your own money, go ahead. But my brother, we gotta realize it gets to a point. And if you've seen the recent games we've been getting as far as anime goes, they have been either mid or terrible. There is no in between and there is no above a mid. I guarantee you, you can look around and try to find one. It's damn near impossible, especially for IPs that are supposed to be really huge and really big. Even some that came out before 2026. Hell, I'll just include the whole 2020s in general, because you can tell now the people behind making these games don't care about this series no more. They don't care about making good games anymore. They just trying to grab the quickest buck possible. And I'm not gonna lie to you, is this somewhat understandable? From a business perspective, yes. And let me tell you why. I know it's crazy to say, but let me tell you why. But before that, let me get back to saying why you shouldn't buy them in the first place. Okay, look, I just said how anime games have been bad recently, and let me explain by examples of which anime games I'm talking about. You got Seven Deadly Sins Origins, which had the highest potential out of everything to be a really, really great game. That shit is so damn boring. I had to force myself to keep playing it to get the character I want, and I never got him. I just ended up dropping it after an hour of play. I said, you know what? This is too much of my time already. I'm gone. Literally, that game was so boring and so ass to me that I couldn't keep playing it to get my favorite character. That's how you know the anime game is trash. Another good example being Hunter x Hunter Net Impact. Okay, it's not that the gameplay mechanics itself are bad. What did they do to my boy? The graphics, the molds, everything about it is just so like whatever. It's just like they put no real effort into making a great, good, and long-lasting, like this had the potential to be like a Dragon Ball Fighters, and they said no, we're not doing that. And especially you do have kind of My Heroes All Justice, where they did fumble in some parts, but the gameplay wise, the character roster, those are good. The thing about My Heroes All Justice is what messed it up was the options of having no options. Like when you go to the option setting, the settings section, there is nothing there. And especially when you go into the customization setting, the customized character, even though they had that in previous games, in the biggest and possibly last My Heroes Justice series, whatever you want to call it, they took out all customization that you could have done before and left us with no real costumes that appear in the show. If this is supposed to be the biggest, the most best, all like the Justice gameplay game ever, why not are you including the previous things into this one too as well? And not only that, they don't communicate with their fan base or anyone that still plays the game and say, hey, this is coming out. Oh, this is going to be happening. Oh, this is coming out. This is going to be happening. And that led the game to the biggest downfall I've seen in anime game history. Well, no, Bleach Rebirth Souls, it got that. But bro, it for real gets to a point where you really need to stop wasting your money, because at the end of the day, they know to drop these games unfinished, half-assed, and barely even putting any love, passion into the series. And you can tell, and they know that when they drop it, that when they release it, that you're gonna go spend your money on that first day. Even if it dies after the first week, they don't care. As long as you spent your money, they got your money, they pocketed it, and now they running off with it. And then they might release some DLC later just to get a little bit more coins from you if they can. So not only does that validate them for making a game like this, because they pocketed more money probably than what they spent on making the series itself, brother, they have an incentive to now continue making bad games and not do better because you're not buying it. Okay, I messed up on the words on that, but I'm not cutting it out. It's because you're still buying it. It's not because you're not buying it. It's because you're still buying it. That's why they have the incentive to keep on doing what they're doing. But again, looking from the other side, as I said before, it's understandable as to why they do the things they do now. And why for the past, I don't know how many years, they've been making the same bullshit and giving it to us however they wanted to. It's because of this. Look. When you go to search up the player base count of active players on a certain game, especially like All Justice, Bleach Rebirth Souls, what happens? People come there Day one. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that buys the game on day one, plays the hell out of it. And then after a week, what happens? The game damn near completely falls off, or it declines a ton. And what is the reason behind the decline? Because genuinely look at it like this. You probably had 1,000 ideas and reasons as to why the player base falls off. There are terrible games, or there are games with no content and haven't been updated since when it first came out, and it still has a very active and healthy player base. That is insane. But an anime game that just came out can't maintain at least a little bit of the fans that it had when it first came out. Like a little bit. Y'all didn't make a core fan base at all. Even though people online are saying, hey, this is the game I want. Hey, I want you guys to make it. The company's looking at it like this. They looking at it like, hey, we made a game before. Y'all abandoned that shit in a week. Why should we give our all, and why should we try as hard as we can and put a whole bunch of money into this? Just for that investment not to be returned after everything is done, because y'all actually don't want what we giving y'all. See, now we're getting behind the mask a little bit. Now we're getting behind the faces, people making the game, what their thought process is. You gotta think, at the end of the day, this is all about money. So what has the loudest voice in a room? Money, my nigga. So look, if we don't buy a game based off what we see and what we don't like what we're seeing, they will be forced to say, hey, we got to take a big gamble now just to make some money back and put more effort into an anime game and focus on what people are saying of what they want, because we already spoke with our dollar by not buying it. Once they realize that people aren't just going to buy any game and they make a really good game that comes out, as the people, as the players, as the people that say they want something, we have to be on that game as long as we can. We can't drop it after a week. I get it. Some of y'all don't play fighting games every day, and most people that buy anime games are pretty casual. But you, as the people that probably begged for this and probably really wanted this to happen, need to play the game. That's just how it go. You need to play the game. Because if you want them to make another game that is that game that you wanted to come out so bad, nigga, you gotta be on that. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody. Hell, even start botting the numbers if you have to, brother. If you want another entry in that series, you have to play the game. Because again, it's a two-way street. That's just how it is. But all in all, at the end of the day, if we see things that we don't like, let's just stop buying the anime games. And that's it. That's all I gotta say. Goodbye.